So I, I said last night on my radio show that this Hawks Celtics matchup, this is more lopsided than Denver and Minnesota when you look at a playoff matchup. This is maybe the biggest mismatch. We can't stop them offensively. And any time that we get on these, we people talk about, well, we cut this and we did this and all these good things. But again, so you're cutting it down to 8 or 10 or 12 or whatever like that. You're still getting rolled, and I guess we were fooled into thinking that after that Miami Heat game, because look, they did something that we did not expect them to do when they went down to Miami and they pulled off a victory down there, right? They had lost 7 times in a row in Miami. They were 1-3 against Miami, but they were 3-10 over the last 2 years total from the regular season and playoffs. 3-10 against the Heat. There was nothing that told us that they should go down there and win that game. But yet they found a way. All right. The bench got 53 points. They were rebounding the basketball at an unbelievable pace, 63, 39 in rebounds, blocking shots, doing all these different things. Right? Hustle plays, 50-50 balls, all of these different things, right? And we said to ourselves, why can't they have more nights like this? Why can't they have more nights like this? And, we've got the Celtics, and listen, we're going to take it prideful and personal. We're going to take it personal that we're 0-3 during the regular season against the Boston Celtics. We're going to take that personal and figure out a way to beat them. And now here we sit, a couple of games in, and we're 0-5 against the Celtics this year. Friday night, the Friday night when the Hawks come back home to State Farm Arena, it'll be a raucous crowd. There'll be all kinds of people there. There'll probably be a lot of Celtics fans there because they travel and they're going to come out of the woodwork, in Atlanta. We used to seeing that. But there'll be a big crowd. It'll be raucous. It'll be loud. I mean, it will be a very much a very supportive crowd for the Atlanta Hawks. And yeah, they may win a game in this series. But if you think that this team is going to go, to Boston because they'll have to go back at some point, you think they're going to Boston and beating the Celtics? I mean, let me put it this way. If you think there's any chance that the Hawks are going to win 4 of the next 5 games, you're crazy. You're crazy to think that. And we probably should have said, okay, again, a lot of us said that going into this thing is like, okay, this is not a very good match for the Atlanta Hawks. And all the things that have kind of come to roost over the regular season have popped their head right back up as to why, again, literally, you're the exact same percentage from 3 as you were during the regular season. You still have all of your defensive issues where you've given up 135 points in the first half to the Celtics. All of the same things have crept up and creeped up and all these different kinds of things. And you just say to yourself, what a bad matchup that this is. I'm telling you, it's the most lopsided matchup in the first round of the playoffs, even more than Denver and Minnesota. That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot about where this Hawks-Celtics series is right now. But they can't figure out a way to get it done defensively in the first half. They can't figure out a way to throw the ball in the ocean. We just broke down for you all the different players and how they're shooting and different things like that. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because you see nights against Miami and you know that they can do that when they come all together, right? When they put it all together, they can figure out a way to play with and beat good teams in the NBA. We've seen it over the last couple of years. We see these blips and bloops and stuff like that on the radar, right? Golden State coming here this year, beating the world champions. Last year it was President's Day or something like that, where Phoenix had won 11 games in a row. It might have been MLK Day, but President's Day or something like that. Phoenix had won 11 road games in a row. They were the best team in the NBA, blah, 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 blah. And they come to State Farm Arena, and the Hawks dominate them. Hawks control that game all the way through. You see those moments. See those moments where the Hawks figure it out and that light bulb kicks in and they put it all together. Problem is they can't do that on a consistent basis. And this is a matchup where they're outclassed, they're outgunned. And by the way, this is not about Trae Young. This is everybody. This is why I say Quinn Snyder just can't magically come in here and make everything better. This is about everybody for the Hawks. And I've been saying this for weeks and months now, that this is a very flawed basketball team. And I expect that there's going to be changes in this offseason. And I think that there's going to be definite personnel changes. I have two questions for Tony Ressler. That my two questions are, number one, are we willing to go in the luxury tax next year? I don't want to hear about we go in the luxury tax if it's right or correct or at the right time or whatever like that. I want to know, are we going in the luxury tax next year? And I want to know what Quinn Snyder's role in player personnel is. What's his role? Does he have the ultimate authority? Does he have some authority? Is it collaborative, communicative? That's the two questions I want to know from Tony Ressler. Are we going to the luxury tax? And what role will Quinn Snyder play in the roster? Once I get that answered, then I'll have a clearer understanding about how we're going to move forward, how we're going forward with the progress of this roster. And I do think that there are going to be changes coming. Frustrating all the way around for this Hawks team. All right, after make Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery, your first listen, make sure that when you listen in, you leave us a comment and let us know that you're an everyday listener. We call it our everydayer. So when you're listening in, whether it's YouTube or whatever podcast platform that you listen in on, make sure you leave us a comment to let us know that you are an everyday listener. We value you so much and appreciate the fact that you listen in every day. We want to recognize you and we want to be known, who is our everyday listener. So thank you so much for doing all of that as you listen into Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery every single day.